All right, this week we are back with a book-to-movie review of Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I'm Jamie Livingston.
And I'm Sarah Lyles, and we are so approachable.
This was really fun.
It was way different than I thought, but super fun.
You literally just stepped out of the movie theater. I went a couple days ago, so you are fresh off of the theater.
Yes.
What's your initial reaction?
It was much longer than expected.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, essentially, it was a lot of theatrics. There was a lot of light and movement, but overall, I actually enjoyed it.
I did think it was really long.
Very long.
I mean, we got to the theater and I was like, 2.5 hours? Oh my goodness. But then near the end, I was like, I don't think we actually made it to 2.5. Like, I think it was shorter than what they said it was. I don't know. I mean, the book was long. The book was almost 500 pages.
Yes.
So I understand wanting to keep everything in. And I think they did a really good job of sticking mostly to the book.
Right. I mean, I feel like they pulled in the theatrics. They pulled in a lot of scenes that were drawn out that weren't drawn out in the book. But I also think they shortened a whole lot of good substance in the movie to make it, I guess, more appeasing, more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we can start. What did you think about Ryan Gosling and Ryland Grace?
I loved him. He was a perfect fit. I mean, absolutely, hands down, great, humorous, but yet serious. I loved him as the character. What'd you think?
I thought it was a great pick, too. I was trying to do some internet background on this and dig some stuff up while you were watching the movie. But he was the only person they even considered for it.
Wow.
Like, he read the book before the book was released.
Wow.
So it hadn't even come out on shelves, and they were already talking about the movie and already saying, Ryan Gosling, you're the man.
That's amazing.
And so he was very, very integral in the production of this. So I was trying to figure this out. From what I was seeing, it sounds like he was one of the producers and had a lot of control over how this was actually played out. So I really enjoyed it. I thought, and one of his goals, he kept saying he wanted this to be a family-friendly movie, something that his kids could watch, something that kind of shared this bigger message of, hey, we're going to take care of you, or we're going to problem solve, and we're not going to just leave you the next generation. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about this being the next E.T., the E.T. of this next generation, which... Do you remember E.T.?
Oh,
Were
absolutely.
you an E.T. fan?
Yeah, of course. E.T. Phone Home.
Yes.
Yes.
That's literally all that I remember because I was so small, and I feel like I would need to watch it again. But he ate Reese's Pieces. Like, that was...
You don't remember him hiding in the closet amongst all the stuffed animals?
Right.
Yes.
He had like a doll hair or wig or something. Like, yeah, vague flashes. But I could see Rocky being kind of the new E.T.
Sure. I guess when you put it that way, I could see that. I mean, I really struggled. Let's get into Rocky. How did you think of Rocky? What was your first impression of Rocky? Was it what you expected?
Yes and no. We talked about this in our cover-to-cover episode where we go in-depth on the book.
Yes.
If you read the book and you want to talk about that, go see that episode. I couldn't picture Rocky while I was reading the book. I had a really hard time trying to figure out how this kind of robotic rock alien was going to be doing all of this stuff and with like dexterity. I was very confused. So I loved seeing him and how he was brought to life. I thought he was this like cute little golden retriever. Like he just had so much energy and like I got dog vibes. Like he was just like joyful and playful. I mean, he was snarky and sarcastic and just, I really enjoyed him. Did you think it came across well?
I did. It took me a while to get over the fact that there was like a rock creature. I like to see that they did show us what he was seeing because it was kind of confusing. Like he has no face. What is he seeing? Why does he have to put the letters on the clocks? Why does he have to like bring certain things to life more? And so I was glad that they actually gave us a visual. So what he sees, it took me forever to be like, this weird looking tarantula rock thing is like full of all of this life and all of this world and
knowledge.
Yes, a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
So it took me a while.
So Have you looked into at all how they made Rocky?
No.
Because Rocky was a puppet.
Oh,
A puppet.
interesting.
There were 5 different puppeteers controlling his 5 arms. And so a lot of time in these Hollywood blockbusters, it's all green screen and CGI. And
Yeah.
they have said over and over and over, every website says there were no green screens in this movie.
Wow.
Everything was self-contained. That's also why they had the room where there was like visuals on the walls the entire time. Like he could see the rain falling and was walking through the forest. Like that
Right.
was all in one room. So it wasn't like extra graphics. So they just had one really big spaceship that he walked around in. And so there was no need for CGI in that regard. They did do enhancements to Rocky. I mean,
Sure.
they had to delete the ninjas who were like managing him.
Yes.
Ryan Gosling talked about them and how they were wearing like ninja clothes and like just operating. I did watch a little clip and it showed kind of people. It was interesting. I want to see some more behind the scenes on this. So the main puppeteer, they called themselves the Rocketeers.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. The main guy is the one who voiced Rocky.
Oh, okay.
And so when they were doing all these scenes, Ryan Gosling was able to actually like interact with Rocky because Rocky would talk back. And it wasn't just him memorizing lines and going from there and talking to a tennis ball or a stick, which is what they normally do for CGI stuff. They're
Right.
like, well, the monster's going to be over here. Just look in that direction.
Right.
They actually had it there. And
That's
that's where
cool.
there was actually ad-libbing because the voice of Rocky was right there. And so there were jokes that weren't intended, but they were kept because they were funny.
Yeah. That's really interesting and actually super smart of them because I would imagine it would be super hard to communicate with this like nothing being.
Well, and that's the majority of the movie.
Yes.
And so, like, for Gosling trying to do the acting and, like, keep his role, like,
Yes.
stay in the moment and just talking to a ball. Other clips that I looked at talked about how he had his daughters voicing some of Rocky's lines. And so they had, like, an earpiece and they would be talking to him, delivering the lines. And so that helped him, like,
That's
cheer
fun.
up and actually express himself a little more. I thought that was really cute. They're like 9 and 12 or
That's fun. I did enjoy that there was no swearing. Even the one scene that he's like flying around, he's like, oh, and doesn't say anything.
Right.
There's no profanity. There's no sex scenes. It's very clean in that regard. And so I could see why he would push it to be like a family movie.
Right. It was rated PG-13.
Yeah.
And so I was having this conversation. We took all 3 of our boys to see it, and we have 9, 12, and 14. So, and I was explaining it because I was like, I don't think Sarah's going to bring her kids to see it. And they're like, well, why not? I was like, well, she's the same age as you, but you're the youngest and you've been exposed to bigger people things and she's the oldest. So like there's kind of a cap on what she's seen. I don't know. Do you think after seeing it you would feel comfortable with is she 9?
She is 9.
Would
Yeah.
you feel comfortable with that?
I mean, the thing is a lot of things, it's kind of like end of world, right? And so I think if I'm able to talk beforehand, I like to watch, I'm one of those moms that I like to watch what they're about to see before they watch it. And a lot of that goes back to, all right, what kind of conversations is this going to spark? Where are we going to be able to have conversations? How am I going to be able to discuss this? Is there things in there? Because nowadays, theater and movies will say, oh, they're PG, but yet there'll be scenes in there that are not appropriate. I mean,
A lot of
commercials.
innuendo.
Yes, there's commercials that have horrible things on them in themselves. And so for me, like, PG-13 makes me be like, why? Why is it rated PG-13? And really looking back, like, could she handle it? Sure, of course she could. There are talks, and I'm sure you guys had discussions afterwards. It had a really good message at the end, kind of a really cool like way they came back together, and he was willing to save the earth and also save his new rock friend. Again, got it in my head. But yes, I could see that actually being enjoyable for kids under 13.
Right. My 3 kids walked out of the theater going, that was so funny. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. And I was like, okay, yeah, like it was really funny. I was interested to see what their full takeaway would be. So they really enjoyed it. And my youngest was just talking about how he was scared, especially in the scene where Grace is kind of thrown around the cockpit or whatever it is, and then ends up like pinned up against the wall and is bleeding. And that's when Rocky busts out of his cage and tries to save him. And so he was scared in that moment, and just there was blood. And when I was looking at the different things for the ratings, I mean, you've got the bodies off of the top because you've got the 2 other astronauts who die.
Right.
And so there are some very small, brief moments that you may need to have a discussion about or a warning going into that. But truly, I was very comfortable leaving the theater with my choice of bringing all 3 of them.
Right. I think the only thing that got me and was a lot of the lights, the flashing of the lights, the stimulation of some of those when they were going into that new world, when they were going to like try to get the what are they called?
Astrophage?
No, not the astrophage. When they were going in to get the foreign substance.
Amoeba.
There you go. When they were trying to get that, the lights were just overbearing, or they're like hitting you from every angle. And then some points were dark and it was hard to see. And it was like, could be scary. It could be taken as like what's going on. And so like think small.
Well,
go.
and it was scary when he was like flying around on the outside during his spacewalk.
Yes.
And, right.
Yeah.
It was suspenseful, stressful.
Yeah. And so for a kid who's not exposed to a lot of those things, that can feel overwhelming and almost make them worry about things that you don't need to worry about. That's why I feel like they label it PG-13, because there are things about end world within that movie that could make a child worried, have nightmares, be scared. And so I could really see why that could be a concern.
Yeah. I think you know your kids the best.
Yes.
And that's like I was looking at this signage on the walls, and PG-13 was watch this with your child. And I was like, okay, yeah, I do feel okay about this. Like there was nothing too traumatizing. And my kids have all been exposed to most of the superhero movies. So they're used to action and adventure and all of that. So I was pleased, and I was glad that they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because all 3 of them came out with rave reviews. How do you feel about the watchability of this? Do you need to see it again?
No. I mean, a lot of it to me was I walked away almost actually wanting to read the book again because there's so many differences. And I know we'll get to some of those in just a minute, but there were a lot of differences. But I really, in this case, I was like, man, I missed part of that. The very beginning when he woke up, I missed that action. I was like, wait, where's him like really trying to remember his name? Where is this action of him trying to wake up? He can't open this door because he can't remember his name, and he just automatically goes right through.
Right.
And so I did feel like that was lacking.
Let's talk about the beginning of the movie because it kind of bugged me. It was very different from the book.
Yes.
The spaceship itself was very, very different
Yes.
from the book. Because the book, it was very, very plain. It was like a simple cylinder. You went up and you went down, and it was small. We talked about how tight quarters it was. And how it would have been really tight for 3 people on board the entire time.
Yes.
And like the crawl space was this like storage area. There was not a lot going on. And he relied on Armando, the arm robot, to like take care of everything. And that's where he got his food. He was gnawing down on ramen packets, and I was like, well, that's not what he's eating on that spaceship.
No.
They did not pack him ramen. Get out of here.
Where's he boiling the water, right? I mean, just like my whole thing, I was laughing. Actually, speaking of the ramen, I loved that he made that ramen little character. That's
hilarious. What he made the
Rocky,
model of his ship. This is your ship.
Which was hilarious. But I missed it. I missed the beginning of the book. I feel like it was chapters, like quite a few chapters that even before he remembered his name, before he remembered, oh, Ryland Grace.
Right. And the computer spit that out right away in the movie and was like, Ryland Grace.
Yes.
And so he knew who he was, but he didn't know. So I don't know that the forced amnesia was as obvious for the audience who hadn't read the book.
Right.
Because we find out at the end that Grace had been tricked on or like forced onto this ship.
Yep.
He was into the forced coma. But in the book, they also gave him a drug that would force amnesia.
Right.
So that when he woke up from his coma, he wouldn't remember being forced onto the ship.
Right.
And that it would come back to him eventually. And so I missed that detail because it was like, well, why doesn't he know where he is? that was never explained. I didn't think so.
Not well. I don't feel like it did it well, but I missed that because I liked that. I thought that was funny in the book. I
Right.
liked that
2
part.
plus 2. Sorry, you can't get anything else. But he was also just exploring. And one of the things, like the timeline of this movie, it all happened a lot more condensed. It was a shorter span of time because
Sure.
Grace actually spent quite a while by himself and started the process. Like memory started coming back to him. So he was
Yes.
starting to do research and
Yes.
figuring out how to do science. And then Rocky came along.
Right.
Whereas in this version, Rocky came along right away and
Quickly.
then they got down to science.
Quickly, yes. I feel like there was not the solo time that there was in the book.
Which I get for the movie. I
Sure.
mean, like,
It's not as entertaining to watch
Rocky's
one guy.
kind of the star of the show here.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But
Sure. But
it
wasn't
didn't
Rocky...
develop his arc as much.
But wasn't Rocky also alone for a long time too?
Yeah,
Like 40
years.
plus long
Yeah.
time. And so I don't feel like that also was like
No.
mentioned.
No, he mentioned that all of his crew died, but they never talked about the
The
time
span.
frame or the fact that they had estimated it was going to take a way different amount of time because they didn't know anything about relativity either.
Right.
So they had measured and said it was going to take, I don't remember, I feel like it was decades to get to Tau Ceti and back. And it was like, no, it's only going to take you 10. So that
Yeah.
wasn't communicated. That was one of the things that the movie downplayed the science a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The book was so heavy in science.
Yes, I
And
agree.
that bogged us down. And so I understand why they like took a ton of that out and
Yep.
just made stuff happen. But you do miss something when you realize how smart he was and what they were actually trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go like error after error trying to breed this Talmiba. Like it just happened. Just magically happened.
Well, that's like even the language. It took like no time for him to discover all these 250 words. It was like a minute. You know, it's so
Right.
quick. Whereas in the book, it takes time. I mean, he's creating a language and
Right.
figuring out how to say this. And so
and it was months. They talked
was
about this
so
being months.
long. And it was like a day. I was like, oh, wow, you have 250 words and a day. So, yeah, the timelines changed significantly. I think that was a big thing for me that really did change.
But to that effect, they were focusing on the emotional bond between Rocky and Grace. And so, and I think, I mean, that's what my kids took away was like all of the funny lines between the two of them and how they became friends.
Right.
So, I mean, coming out of the movie, my son was like, ask me what I thought about the movie. He says, thumbs up. And he does a thumbs down because that's what Rocky did.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, I'm glad you were paying attention. So now we have all these Rocky-isms. And so I loved all the time we had with Rocky.
You're going to start saying, fist my bump.
Right. Amaze.
Yes.
So one thing that I did want to mention about this, because I thought I wasn't truly taking notes. I don't know. Did you take notes while you were watching? I pulled my phone out a couple times and wrote things down because I thought it was really funny when they were trying to come up with the voice for the computer for
Yes.
Rocky.
I enjoyed
and
that.
they went through several different iterations until they found the right one. And the Meryl Streep one made me like bust out laughing because everybody in Hollywood is always just like, she can do anything.
Yes.
And so when he said that, it was just hilarious. And that was also like a surprise to Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
They had kind of joked about it. And then the directors were like, somebody needs to get Streep. And so they like waited and waited and waited. And then they finally went and asked her. And she recorded like dozens of lines and like just to get it right. And so then when they were actually filming that scene, they threw in the Meryl Streep sound. And he was just like, oh, man, she can do everything. And so that was a surprise to him. It was like a practical joke. And so that left it
that's
and
funny.
made it into the movie. And she's not credited at all.
Oh, see, and another addition that I really liked in the movies, I really liked Carl. I liked Carl so much. I thought Carl was hilarious. He added a different type of joy when they went shopping and bought all of those like sour Skittles and all the different things that they went in. And I can't even remember the line. And I just walked out of it when he made the other astrophage when they came out with the 4. He just was like, when he goes to talk to them.
We're father.
We're father.
We made a baby.
We made a baby. Oh, man. And then he goes and presents to all these scientists.
Experts.
Right, yes. And he made a line that was like a movie or a music reference that just was like whoop, there it is. Or, yes. And I was just like, oh, that's hilarious. And then I loved it so much more when the Asian guy comes back and was like,
whoop, there it is.
Yes. And I loved those little additions. Those were funny. They were fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed that scene in front of all of the experts. Mm-hmm. Just that he was like, I kind of did this and this and this. And the other guy's like, that was a very crude experiment. We were able to replicate this. And we are smart. He's like, well, why can't we do that? And everybody just says, we don't know. The collective, we don't know. It's just like, yeah, the world's about to end and nobody has an answer.
Of course.
Join the club.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So he was asking the right questions, but everybody was already like,
we've already asked these questions 100 times over.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that scene. Mm-hmm. One other thing about the voices. One of the other voices that they played as a potential for Rocky was the audiobook narrator.
And he was so good. You still haven't listened to the audiobook.
I didn't actually listen to it.
It was just so good. So if you listen to the audiobook, I also know that it was such a good, entertaining. I actually noticed that when I heard it, I was like, oh, that guy, he was so good. Because, I mean, it was like 12 hours of audiobook. It was so long.
I didn't recognize it at all.
Of course not, because you read it.
Right. I will say, for anybody looking to get the audiobook, Sarah's a big fan. It is Audible only, exclusive.
Yes.
So
Libby doesn't have it.
It was not in the library app, so I did not have that option.
No. It's not anywhere, and they don't plan on it. I didn't see any plans of actually releasing it, and they don't need to. It seems like it's so popular. People are willing to
use
pay
your
for
Audible credit and go listen to it.
Yeah, because a couple others you can easily get from other places, but not this one. Not at all. And actually, I didn't realize it was Amazon Productions that created it. I noticed that when it came on, and I was like, oh, Amazon Productions. That makes sense why only Audible would hold the rights to it. So
that does make sense. Mm-hmm. One thing, we talked about the beginning of the movie and him discovering his co-astronauts dead. How did you feel about how that was brought about?
It was quick. Right. It was like they're deceased, like quickly. And I feel like there wasn't any good answers.
Right. Like
they died.
He just unzips their bags and sees that they're dead.
Yes.
And he doesn't even unzip like both of them right away. We just see the one sign that says deceased. Mm-hmm. So we do end up seeing the bodies. I'm sure that was part of trying to make this family friendly. So we're not like exposing you to full dead bodies. But I was also like, can somebody explain why they're dead?
Yeah.
Or like what happened? Mm-hmm. Can he figure this out? Or can he just like talk out loud to say, oh, they must not have survived their coma?
Yeah.
Like something went wrong and we just have 2 dead bodies and we're not going to talk about it?
I did enjoy that he humanized them by going through their packs and looking through their pictures and seeing who they were.
I feel like he was wearing the girl's dress for part of the movie. Like they had personal effects and I swear he was wearing a dress with his big cardigan.
I can't even remember. Maybe.
I swear. I was like,
he loved that cardigan.
Wearing? It had to have been one of the ladies' outfits. But yes, the cardigan, the whole movie. So
one thing that I noticed was Strat and Grace's relationship and their like bond.
Was there an interest there?
No, I don't know.
Like that's the vibes that I got, was that there was some sort of a romantic vibe.
Yeah.
But that was weird, and I don't think that was in the book. I didn't pick that up.
I didn't pick that up at all.
But I feel like Strat was a lot more developed in the movie. Mm-hmm. Her role was quite dynamic, and I loved her. I thought it was great. Like she was the boss lady. She came in. I don't think it was communicated well enough that she was like in charge of the world.
Yes.
She was, but I don't think that it was made as obvious as it could have been. She was clearly in charge of the project.
Right.
And when Carl and Grace are going on their like spending haul, we realize he's like, "What government are you
All
with?"
of them.
All of them. Like, okay. But that was the only reference to like the globe coming together for this last ditch effort.
Although you do kind of, if you really pay attention in the scene where he's first uncovering the astrophage, you see all the different military personnel.
Oh, yeah.
Good moment. Hilarious moment when he was like, so basically, am I going to die? And she like pauses and talks and she's like,
The consensus is
I was like, wow, that's so a no emotions military answer. And so that was humorous.
right. And they did come in different phases. So you did see different nationalities and
yes.
military. But still, I just felt like we didn't have like the bigger picture of just how many countries were involved in this.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a little critique.
Yeah. All right. Huge change for me. One of the biggest is the ending.
Okay.
Huge change.
What part of the ending, Sarah?
So he saves the world. I like to see that he sent back movies and that we actually
Yes.
saw that he was sending all the information. Okay.
That was my
and
big gripe.
She got it.
Right.
And we saw that she received it and that they are saving the world.
Right.
Like to see that. But the world that they created for him in Arid was like, that was not at all. They created,
No.
he wasn't eating meat burgers, right?
Right.
Yes.
Me burger.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like he was in Oregon or something. Like it was this big waterscape with a rocky coast. That was not what I was picturing.
No.
I don't put it past the Iridians that they would be able to create that.
Sure.
But that was not what I was picturing whatsoever.
Oh, no, that was so different. I was like, where is he? When I saw like the waves coming in, I'm like,
Well, and I think that was part of it. That was part of like the shock value. We thought that he was back on Earth, waking up to an alarm clock
okay.
and getting ready and coming
Sure.
outside and seeing sunshine. And then you see Rocky like,
I guess if you didn't read the book, I guess you could say like, wait, so he saved, Rocky and then ended up back home. Where we're like, no, he stays with, in Arid forever.
right. So I think there was just a little bit more of a twist there by making it this huge expanse.
Right.
And I mean, if he's going to be living there for a long time, they're going to make it big and awesome.
Although Rocky does say, like, okay, we've come up with a way to get you back home. I don't think I remember that at all in the book, where he's like, we figured out a way, and he's like, I'll think about it.
Right. I don't think they had that conversation. I think it would have been possible. I think Rocky said, we're ready to start making plans to find a way for you to get
Sure.
home. And he was like, can I think about it? Yes, think long time. Okay.
Yes.
Rocky kind of has Yoda vibes in the way that he
okay.
talks, kind of backwards or
Yes.
single syllables. I can see that becoming a thing.
I missed a little bit of Rocky's backwards talk whenever he goes back to the ship to save Rocky. And you don't hear, because there's no audio, where he's like banging on the glass. And you don't hear Rocky being like, Grace, here, question? Like,
Right.
yeah, there wasn't that. It was just like a visual.
So my big gripe is that Grace doesn't try to save Rocky. Because they both tried to save each other.
Yeah.
Because Rocky got out of his little
And saved
gerbil
him.
ball and saved Grace.
Right.
And then in that process injured himself by coming into the oxygen in
Yeah.
his atmosphere.
Right.
And then Grace hurts himself trying to drag Rocky back into his enclosure.
Yes. Yes.
And so he had significant burns and like had to take prescriptions and like sit and wait. And then he almost killed Rocky by trying to save him. Remember he did like
Yes.
the power washer or like air hose to clear out his vents. And that was actually what was healing him.
Yeah.
So I missed that. Instead, you saw like he was unconscious and Rocky just like crawled back to his enclosure. And then Rocky or Grace sat outside of his enclosure
Right.
and just waited.
That
And I
enclosure
that
was
different.
way bigger than I thought it would be, too.
Yeah. Well, like the ship itself was
Everything,
bigger, so
yes. Yeah, I guess you're right. Now I think back, I don't think I remembered that Grace tried to save Rocky, and that is a big missing point. Like, you're like, wait, so Rocky literally risked his life knowing that it was going to harm him a lot and hurt him, and he did that, but there was no reciprocation.
right. And I thought that showed a lot about Grace.
Yeah.
That was part of him becoming a better person.
Well, that was them showing their friendship and the bond that they created. Because as you learned with the flashbacks, there was, I mean, as what Strat said, you've got no one, not even a dog.
right.
Yes.
Ooh. Now he's got a little Rocky who is like a Labrador.
Lots of Rockies, as you see at the end.
Yes. That really was cute. I mean, just the little Iridians like bouncing off the walls. I could definitely picture that as like my second grade class, and like the kids just, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn. And that his lesson was like verbatim what he was asking his middle schoolers at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
What's the speed of light?
Yes.
So it was cute.
It was cute. And I obviously feel like Iridians are smarter than Americans are, because they were like little teeny little things. I'm like, wow, all right.
So I listened to an interview with Ryan Gosling last night, and he talked about the fact that he would not go to space. Like his character. He does not want to go to space ever at all. He's
I
on
agree.
the Sarah train.
I agree. And that movie just lands the plane. It's like, no, thank you. I have no desire.
I just don't understand. And it was an interview with him and the actress who plays Strat. And she was like, yeah, I'll go. Like, that would be cool. Like, let's do it. I'm with her. Like, let's go.
You go save the world, okay?
We debated this in our TLDR episode, I think. So if you didn't weigh in on the YouTube there or on the comment section, please weigh in now. Would you go to space?
Team Jamie wants to go to
Jamie
space.
wants to go. I think it would be so cool. Yes, of course, dangerous and lots of risks. But let's just hypothetically say, if you could go and know that you were going to return safely, would you go to space?
Well, how can you know that you're going to return safely?
Just hypothetically, I want to go to zero gravity. I want to be floating around and being silly like that. I want to see the stars. Can you imagine being in just that emptiness of space? No.
Sounds scary.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't know. Have you ever jumped out of a plane?
I haven't.
Oh, see, you should
I
try
would.
that. You should.
I know. That's like on my bucket list.
Yes.
For sure.
I feel like that would give you some of that effect.
I got to rappel down a skyscraper.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. I had a really good time doing that.
But I'm saying like to actually feel
free fall.
the free fall.
Yeah.
Right. That would kind of give you that zero gravity effect. Mm-hmm. So to see if you really want to do it.
I fly, so I got to do it in like the little wind tunnel.
But I imagine when you're looking down and like
Oh, very different. Yes.
very different, like, wow, see how far away that tree is? I hope this parachute comes out.
Just imagine being out on a spaceship and looking down at the Earth where you can see like land masses. That's just so crazy. Mind-boggling to me.
It is, but no thank you. So if you are Team Sarah, we are staying here on this earth.
Feet flat on the ground.
That's fine with me. I'm there.
Funny, though, Gosling was talking about how Andy Weir's book was so bogged down. Not bogged down. That has a bad connotation. But it was chock full of science.
Yes.
And we talked about how Andy Weir is a lifelong space nerd.
Yes.
Very much a geek. Mm-hmm. He was explaining that Andy Weir, when he first watched Titanic, watched the scene with Jack and Rose on the door, and in the background could see the night sky and was like, those aren't the right constellations. That's the kind of nerddom we're dealing with here.
Smart. So
Right?
smart. Yes.
Who is paying attention to that?
Someone who like lives their life to just enjoy it. And so we need people like that in this world. I just am not one of them.
No, me neither.
And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I am very thankful for all those people who are that. But I do think like looking at the stars, taking out a giant like telescope and seeing them is beautiful. It really is. And really when you think how small we are in this big like solar system we live in, it's like kind of scary.
Do you like planetariums?
I mean, they're cool.
I think those are awesome.
Yeah. I think I would love to go one time to the Sphere, like Las Vegas,
Yeah.
when they show all the stars and all that. I think that would be cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the thought of that. One thing that they didn't do, so you kind of mentioned that Grace was able to send back the Beatles
Yes.
with all the information,
Yes.
which I needed.
They called it something else. They called it spokes or
They were probes.
Probes, yes. They just called them probes, but not Beatles. Right.
But they were still named
That was great. The
Ringo,
Beatles.
Star, yeah. So I needed that, and I loved that it was
Yes.
his video logs, and I sent you all of the data, and I was like, thank you. I don't know why those 2 sentences couldn't have made it into 500 pages. I needed that.
Yes.
So I was very thankful that that happened, and the fact that we got the fact that that transmission was received.
Yes.
And that they were doing something about it. What did you think about that scene? Because they're clearly on a boat in what looks like the Arctic.
Yes.
But it would appear that the oceans have risen and that ice has kind of taken over in the span of those years. What do you think?
I mean, she definitely aged. Strat definitely aged. And so I was thinking, like, what, 10, 15,
Well,
years?
it was going to be at least 30 years because it was going to be 13 years of him
Plus
getting out there and
turning
then
it back,
13
right?
years to come back.
So she had definitely aged. I envisioned it as the world was starting to slowly allow the temperatures to drop. So I was just so glad it gave me that closure that I felt like I didn't have in the book.
Yeah. In the book, they do tell us that the Iridians realized that their sun wasn't dimming anymore. Earth's sun wasn't dimming anymore. So that meant that they did receive, or they were able to fix
Yes.
it. But we didn't actually see that.
Right.
So the other thing from the book that we didn't get in this one was them like blowing up the Antarctic ice shelf to try to produce more methane gases. And it's ironic because they're like undoing all of the years of us trying to cut back on carbon emissions and all of these things to keep the world hot because we're losing the sun.
Right.
And so I missed that. I understand there wasn't time for it, but that would have been nice.
Yeah. But I like that it gave me closure.
Right. Seeing them on the ship and realizing that like ice has taken over shows that they are in dire straits.
Yes.
If that's where they're at now, that means there's probably not a whole lot of actual land left and crops and all of that. So we didn't have to see the entire world in ruins.
No, I didn't need to see that.
Right.
Because it spoke for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We liked that closure.
I liked it a lot.
Okay. What else? I had a whole list of things. I feel like we've covered most of them.
Oh, one thing did we not talk about? The him going on to Rocky's ship.
Yes.
We didn't see that at all.
no.
He did not, because it was too small.
Right.
He couldn't fit on it. And
Right,
so
because Rocky was this size, and
Right.
so he was too big to fit through the tunnels.
yeah.
So I did think it was hilarious when Rocky equips him with a suit that he
Yes.
can, like, kind of waddle aboard. What did we actually see, though? Like, did it actually,
Strings?
like, show us?
To me, it
Okay.
looked like music strings, like light
Right.
and music strings. And then as he's like walking, it's like making music, which is their language.
Right.
Which makes sense. But still, it was confusing to me because I'm like,
How is this your ship?
how is it? Yes.
I was very, like... how are you giving me a tour right now? There's nothing like physical. It actually reminded me of Interstellar. You said you hadn't seen that one. Interstellar, they're like kind of like pulling at the threads of time. Like there's a weird time. I think that's what they're doing. But they were
Interesting.
definitely like strands, and it looked very similar to that. I don't know. I'll have to do some more research to see if that's even a thing. But that's what it reminded me of, because the one guy kind of gets lost in time and is trying to find his way back. And
Yeah.
is kind of weaving through that. The sound that we were hearing, I thought that was cool because their language is the sound and the vibrations. But I did not understand his ship at all.
I mean, I could have gone without that part. I mean, I know that that was his like gift to him.
Right. Whereas before in the book, it was just all of the Xenonite.
Yeah.
yeah, it was good for show. I mean, it was funny to watch him come out in his Iridian spacesuit, but
I also didn't envision that long tunnel between the two.
how long the airlock was.
Yeah, didn't envision that.
And the way that it was like moving, there was a lot about that where I was like, that seems kind of cheesy to me. But it worked.
It was for theatrics and...
Well, and it was also, remember the first time that they meet, Rocky had put up a whole wall and it was all different thicknesses.
Yes.
And so, like, when Ryland goes and knocks on the one that's clear to him, then Rocky comes back later and has the whole wall made of that. Because he can't see. He can't tell. So it was just kind of like a test to see, what is this strange person going to select?
I loved that there was a person in our theaters that got jump scared because of, like, when he knocked on the, like,
yeah.
It's like, oh, wasn't expecting that. You know, you knew it was coming, but you just didn't know when or how.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm quite certain my kids did that as well. So I enjoyed this. Do you have...
Nothing.
I mean, you just came out of the movie, so it's fresh in your brain. I was trying to get my kids' ratings to see, and I got a resounding, like, 4.8, 4.5 from them.
Right, because
What
we're
do we think?
comparing.
Right. I think for the book, I said 4.2, maybe?
I would have to go back and listen.
I know. I'm trying to think. We just did that, and I still can't remember.
Again, book amnesia. As soon as we're done.
Right. I feel like you may have done a 4.
Yeah,
Or it
I
was like
remember like a solid 4, good book, and I feel like you were in the 4s as well.
It was 4.2 or 4.4, and I was very hopeful for the movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that the movie I'm going to rate higher. I think I will go with the 4.5. I don't think it's like a resounding, I'm going to watch this every year with my kids, make this a big deal, because it is so long. It's not family friendly in that regard.
No.
My children are not sitting still that long, or they're not going to be entertained by this. But they found it so funny that they would like watch it for those jokes over and over again. So I think I very much enjoyed it. The fact that it was a puppet, that's the reason I want to go back and watch. I want to try to envision how there are people actually operating this thing now.
I bet there's videos on,
Right.
IG or YouTube that
They're
show
gonna
them
post
actually.
them, so I'm going to go find them. So I think that it was an uplifting movie. I'm glad that it was relatively family friendly. And so for that, like, major kudos. I think that there's a lot to be said about that in this day and age when all the movies are dropping F-bombs and like just, I can't trust any content for my kids.
No.
So now that I've seen it, like, I feel good about recommending it to other people, and I can actually say, like, here's what you may want to look out for. But overall, I mean, I'm sure there were scary parts in E.T. too. I mean, like,
Hunger Games are scary parts.
Right.
Yes.
We make
Lord of
kids
the Rings
sign permission
or-
slips for stuff like this.
Yes.
Like, you have to know your child and what they're gonna be okay with. So I think I'm gonna sit with my 4.5. This was very enjoyable. I don't regret spending the money at the movie theater. I think it is good to see on a big screen. I mean, you can wait for this to come out on a streaming service, but I mean, it was enjoyable to go and have the jump scares and loud vibrations around you. What do you think?
All right, so for me, and here I wonder if you would have listened to the book, if you would have had a different idea too, because I think that the book was better than the movie. So I think the book had parts that I loved that I think the book lacked, and I think there was parts in the movie that they drew out that were unnecessary. So it was like the book and the movie both were so good. They both had really good messages. They both had a lot of information. I couldn't imagine reading all the science in the book. Listening to it made it much more enjoyable. The narrator was so good, so that also did help in that. But for me, I don't think that the movie was as good as the book. And so, like, if I'm a solid 4 in the book, I mean, I hate to give it a 3.8, but I just don't feel like it was as good. And it was made for screen, it was made for entertainment, and I felt like there was parts of it that fell short that I was like missing.
So is that in comparison to the book itself? Like it doesn't stand up to the book.
I guess in comparison to the
If
book,
you're
yes.
doing a standalone movie, I just
Oh, it
went
was
to
so
saw this.
enjoyable. I actually really did enjoy it. I think that is, it's full of action. I think it had a lot of really good points in it. I do think in this one it would be hard to see on like a smaller TV because there was so much that was going on. So watching at home, I hope you got a big screen because there's so many small parts to it that it would be, you'd miss them. You would like miss, what's going on. So
This one, I am happy to see that it is like certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's at like a 98%, which is very
uncalled
rare.
for. Yeah, it's like, wow, where?
Right.
We don't ever
Like,
hear that.
No movies rank that high. I mean, so I'm curious to see how that rating stays.
Sure.
But everything that I've seen, it's like off the charts. Everybody's loving it.
It was good. Standalone, I guess. If I have to say standalone, yes, of course I would rate it higher because it was so good. I'm not a huge like space or sci-fi person, and so for me, like even watching the previews when they mentioned Star Wars, and I was like, I watch Star Wars because I love my dad.
Okay, but The Mandalorian has little Grogu and
Sure.
Baby Yoda.
All right.
The child.
Yeah, and see, that's those things that I'm just like, my family was a Star Trek family,
Right.
so we talked about that.
Yes. I'm a big space movie and TV show, not books necessarily. Like we said, this was our first time reading out in space, so this was an adventure. I really enjoyed the movie. So I think overall, yes, I loved the movie, but you're right in that it doesn't truly hold up to the book. It does make me kind of want to go back and read the book. Now that I can picture everything.
Yes.
Like, because I thought that the spaceship was even like the way that it was flipping around, they didn't truly explain what that was doing. And the book had the diagram to tell us what was happening.
Yes. I just feel like it fell short of that. But a standalone, good movie, go see it. If you are a diehard book person, there are differences. Be prepared for those. I mean, if there's ones we're missing, please throw them at me because...
Right. I know there's more. I had taken a couple notes and I was Googling other things to try to supplement, but I know that there are other changes
Absolutely.
in there. So I want to know, what was your biggest takeaway? What was the thing that stood out to you that should have been in the book or should have been in the movie or vice versa?
Yeah.
What did they change that we didn't like?
Like,
I
what's your
didn't
biggest
like
gripe?
that he was taking the vodka instantly. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that wasn't how that went down. And so that was kind of goofy.
I mean, again, that was for theater. I could see that being like they're trying to make him human in the, he's like, where am I? And he sees that he's in space so quickly, where you don't see that in the book. He doesn't realize where he is like immediately because I almost feel like he was stuck in this one little small compartment where he can't see out, where when he wakes up, he almost instantly sees that he's in the middle of nowhere.
Right. I don't know. I feel like I need to rest on this and fully process. Now that we've discussed this, I'm like, okay, yeah, that did bug me. Okay, but I really did enjoy that.
But you really enjoyed it overall.
Yeah.
So, of course, you can walk away going, they aren't necessarily the same. They have a lot of good similarities. They have a lot of fun humor in it. Good, clean movie.
Right. I like it. And now we can check off sci-fi and move on. What have we got next, Sarah? Ooh, do we have a romance next?
Oh.
I think we do.
Wow, a romance.
We're going from space to stars in the eyes.
What a difference.
Right? All right. Well, if you want to be part of that journey, make sure that you subscribe, follow. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you listen. Please leave a comment. Please leave a rating. We are so excited to get to know each and every one of you. We love the feedback.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed this one, please share it with a friend.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anybody who you know went and saw this movie or you want them to go and see the movie, tell them about us.
Yeah.
Until then, keep reading.
Keep ranting.
Keep watching the movies. And remember, you're so approachable.
Okay, the episode is over. If you enjoyed it, could you give us a thumbs up or leave a review?
It goes a long way toward helping us grow and meet new people like you.
Subscribe to get notified when the next episode drops.
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see what we're reading next, recommend new books, and join the conversation.
We're so excited to have you on board.